She returned to an empty home. The familiar creak of the front door echoed through the silent hallway, and for a moment, she thought she'd stepped into a ghost story. Her suitcase thudded softly onto the hardwood floor, but no one came to greet her. No one called her name. No laughter. No warmth. Only the faint smell of dust and forgotten meals. 10 months earlier, she had left with a mix of anger and heartbreak. He hadn't done anything dramatic, or at least nothing she could see. But little things had piled up. Forgotten anniversaries, phone calls she never returned, and a quiet distance that had grown into a canyon. One night, after a fight she could no longer remember in detail, she had packed her bags and walked out. She had convinced herself that it was temporary, that space would make them appreciate each other. But the silence that greeted her now told her otherwise. She had called him the day she left, no answer. Texts went ignored. Her parents tried to console her, friends offered advice, but nothing filled the hollow ache of unanswered questions. For 10 months, she lived in a haze of half-truths, she told herself. Maybe he had moved on. Maybe she had been too harsh. Maybe it had been all her fault. She haunted her own thoughts and memories, going over every smile, every argument, and every moment they had shared. Each memory seemed both sweet and cruel, a reminder of what she had lost and what she didn't fully understand. Then came the email. She almost didn't open it. The subject line was simple, "You need to know." She stared at it for a long time, fingers hovering over the mouse. But curiosity, that irresistible little itch, won. She clicked. The message was from him, or rather from someone who had been looking after him. A note filled with explanations that felt both foreign and familiar. He had been gone. Not gone in the sense of leaving her, but gone in the sense that he had disappeared from the life she knew entirely. It turned out he had been diagnosed with a rare illness shortly after she left, one that had required immediate treatment overseas. He had insisted she not come with him, not because he didn't want her there, but because the prognosis was uncertain and the treatment grueling. He wanted her to live her life, to be happy, without the constant shadow of hospitals and uncertainty. She read it over and over, disbelief mixing with relief and guilt. 10 months of assuming the worst, of replaying their last argument in her mind, of imagining betrayals that never happened. All of it had been based on a misunderstanding, a silence that had protected her more than hurt her. She remembered the small details, the way he had always carried her favorite coffee in the morning, the notes he had left in her lunchbox, the way his eyes crinkled when he smiled at her. Those little things had felt like nothing when anger had clouded her judgment, but now they were signs she had overlooked. Clues she could have pieced together if she had only known. By the time she reached the hospital, he was resting in a quiet room, sunlight spilling across the bed. His eyes opened as she stepped in, and for the first time in 10 months, she saw the vulnerability he had hidden from her, and the love that had never wavered. "I waited," he whispered, voice raspy but determined. "I never stopped waiting for you." Tears streamed down her face as the weight of those months lifted. The emptiness of her home, the silence, the misunderstandings, they were gone now, replaced by something fragile but real. A chance to start over, to rebuild, to love with eyes wide open. And in that moment, she realized the truth she had been searching for all along. Sometimes absence doesn't mean abandonment. Sometimes silence isn't betrayal. Sometimes it's just the quiet, unspoken proof that love is waiting for you to come back, wiser and stronger than before.